Hello everyone, Kevin Stevenson here with GetMeTheGeek.com, and today we're going to do a little bit more Proxmox fun. So imagine the situation is that you want to back up your Proxmox, and a lot of times I'll do that to a FreeNAS, through an NFS store, or backing it up to a secondary computer device like that. Now sometimes you might be just running with one Proxmox machine, and maybe you don't have a whole nother computer or whatever. So what you can do is take a USB drive, plug it into that Proxmox, and back up using that. And that's what we're going to show you how to do in this video. So let's get started.
I'm Kevin Stevenson with PhasedLogix. We're a managed IT services provider. If you'd like to hire us for projects, go ahead and check us out at GetMeTheGeek.com. If you find my videos valuable, go ahead and subscribe and like. If you'd like to support me directly, go ahead and buy me a coffee.
Here we go. So first off, here is my Proxmox machine. If you notice, I have already plugged in the USB drive. And so it shows up right here as USB drive. Now the question is, well, what do I do from here? Can't just go and add it as a storage device at this point in time, because that directly from at least the web interface, you can't really do that. So we're going to have to do a little bit of command line fun. That's what we have right here. So the first thing we need to know is, what is that device? Now we did look here and we see that as an SDE, so we know that E is the device ID. So let's go ahead and just type in LSBLK, and that's going to give us, let's make this a little bigger for everybody's fun. So you see all of these devices, SDA, B, C, D, and E. So we already knew that E was the one we're looking for, and so there is my 1 terabyte SSD drive. So that's step one. And also, one of the things I recommend you doing is you look at your USB connectors on your Proxmox machine. So if you have an older Proxmox machine, it may only have USB 2 ports, or it may have a mixture of USB 2 ports and USB 3 ports. So let's just check out how to find out of that. LSUSB will show you the USB stuff. Now, if you look right here closely, you're going to see that my machine, first off, first item on there is the Seagate USB drive. Second item on there is Linux Foundation 2.0 root hub. And so you'll see a 1 and as you go down through there. Now you will notice that there is not a USB 3 or 3.1 or whatever on this machine. So keep in mind, even though I am plugging a USB 3 USB drive in there, it is not going to be able to transfer speeds at USB 3 speeds because the computer itself is not capable. Now, this is important that you make sure that it's plugged into the right port if you do have a USB 3 port, and especially if you have a mixture of 2 and 3. Now, you'll see here that bus number 3 is the one that's plugged in, and it is the USB 2 hub. And so like if I was plugged into bus 8, I would be running at USB 1.1 speeds, and we definitely do not want that. So now that I have it plugged into make sure that I have it plugged into the correct hub, let's get started with our next step. We want to check out that drive's formatting. So we'll do fdisk -L. If I type it in correctly. Now, we're going to look through here, and here is SDE1 on our SDE 1 terabyte drive, which happens to be the last drive in it. So it's very convenient for us. And you will see that it is set up as basically for a Windows partition, EXT-FAT, NTFS, HFS. I want to change that to EXT4, because this drive is going to stay in this machine and be our backup drive for the machine. So the next thing we're going to need to do is go ahead and format that guy. So mkfs.ext. Well, actually, let me just clear this so you can see it up high here. And so we're going to do a mkfs.ext4 and then dev/ste1. That was the partition. So let's go ahead and do that. And it says contains an NTFS file system labeled. So you got expansion drive. You want to proceed? Yes, I do. And bing, bang, boom. We are writing ext4 to that. And we'll take just a few seconds. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look. So let's do a blkid-o list. And this is going to list all this stuff. So we're looking for SDE1. So as you scroll through this list, you're going to find SDE1. There it is. Not mounted, and it is set up as an ext4. Now also, you notice this UUID, we're gonna use that later. All right, so let's just do clear. So now what we want to do is create a directory to mount that USB drive. So I'm already in the MNT. So if we do a print working directory here, we're going to see that we're in the mounted directory. And right there, there's some stuff, but basically MNT, that's where I'm going to mount it. That's going to be the permanent location. So let's create our directory there. And we're going to call it the USB drive. And so you'll see it there in this directory and so on and so forth. Now what we want to do is we want to go back and we want to check out that UUID because we're going to need that to set up a permanent mount. Reason why we want to use the partitions UUID is because if we plug other USB device drives in there or change the drive configuration in this machine, that SDE1 may change to F or G or something else, and we'll have a failure on mount on a reboot possibly. So let's avoid that by using the UUID. So we do that by doing this command right here. I'm just going to copy and paste it. And basically you're going to list the devices, the disk devices by UUID. And here we go. And then again, we're looking for the SDE1. So as we scroll through here, we're going to go boom, 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 boom. Ah, right here it is. This one right here that I've highlighted. So what we want to pay attention to is this. So we're going to copy this right here. Now that is copied. And I'm going to paste it right here in just a notepad just to keep track of it. We'll use that in a minute. Now we're going to go into our FS tab. FS tab will be all the mount devices. So let's just go ahead and tape it. I use Nano. You can use whatever editor you prefer. I just like Nano because it's quick, simple, and easy. Alright, so here we are in the FS tab. What we want to do is we want to mount this. So we're going to add command in here. And I'm just going to paste that in here. Dev disk by UID, UID, mount location, format. Okay. So now we're going to go back and I'm going to pull up that UID. And I'm going to fix that. So that's the UUID that we had. And then we're just gonna Control X. It's going to ask to save. Yes, I want to save. Same file name. Blah, blah, blah. Boom. Now, we do a df-h. You're going to notice that it is not mounted yet. So let's just clear this up again. And boom. So mount-a is just going to run that fs tab, and it's going to mount it. So now, if you take a look here, we have a 1 terabyte drive mounted in our USB. So now we can go over here and we can just go look at USB. All right, USB, boom, and there we are, lost and found. So it's got some lost and found stuff in there. We're gonna say mkdir test. There it is. All right. So next step is we're going to go into the Proxmox. Now that we have it mounted, let's go ahead and pull up our Proxmox. So now if I reload this, we're going to see SDE mounted. All right. So that's under our disk. Now we can take advantage of that and turn it into a backup storage file. You're going to go here to Data Center, Storage, Add, Directory. Let's choose Directory, and we're going to call it local-USB and mnt/USB-drive. So that should match this guy right here. Question is, do I have my slashes in the right direction? Let's just choose all these things here. I can never remember. I'm going to choose 3, click add. Oh, see, that's an error. Now, let's go back. And the reason why that is because those slashes. All right, boom. There we have it. Now you'll notice right over here, it is expanding that. So let's just make this bigger. So now USB local's there. Summary. I'm gonna 900 gigabytes, basically all free. Content is nothing. So let's just go ahead and upload an ISO image of that somewhere. I believe I have something in my downloads, which we can just say, oh, here's a vert.io, which is something that's totally useful. So boom, we're uploading that ISO image to this USB drive, and it is a directory that can be treated just like anything else. And now, boom. Okay, so say we want to go ahead and use that as a backup. Let's just take this machine right here, Camino, and we're going to go and click backup. Now, this is my normal backups for this, but I can click backup now. Go over here and see this USB drive as an option. We can choose the fast and the good. Snapshot is totally fine. And then email, we're just gonna leave that blank, but you know, if you want a notification, go ahead and fill that out, because you will get a notification when the when the backup completes with a big log of that. It's totally useful information. Let's just go ahead and hit that backup right now. Boom. So here it is. We're going to go ahead and I'm just going to let this finish and we'll watch it, and we'll probably just do a fast forward and I'll zip to the end. All right. So there we have it. We backed up that virtual machine to this USB drive. And if you haven't done this before, you'll see that it tells you roughly how long it takes and how many megabits per second and the archive size and all this other stuff. just remember, like I said, USB 2 on this one, so it's going to be slower. So your results will vary depending on your hardware. And if you haven't done it before, let's go ahead and look at scheduling. So if you notice before when I did this, I set it up for a number of backups. So let's go to backup. And if you see here, I have this backup scheduling. We're just not going to mess with that one. We're just going to go ahead and make another one here. And we're going to do this. We're going to go to USB local. And we're going to do this on every Wednesday at let's just do a 1900 hours. We select a VM. We're going to select this guy right here. And if you want the emails, it's all good. Always, only on failure, so on and so forth. Snapshots, so on and so forth. And then we just hit create. And so now that will back up every Wednesday. And it will just back up that one machine. And you can just choose whatever you want as whatever your needs are. I'm just going to choose this as an example here for you. And that's it. All right. So I hope you got something out of that. And if you're looking, like I said, there are many things you can do here. If you're looking for a way to back up that Proxmox virtual machines and you don't have a NAS to go to, and maybe you want to have a USB external drive connected to that, so this is a really good option. Just remember, sometimes SneakerNet is faster than Ethernet, so that is one of the reasons why I do that. So I can take that USB drive, unmount it, plug it into another Proxmox, temporary Proxmox machine, and then mount it, and then do a restore, and bing, bang, boom, it's fast. Updated. So if you have a big backup, like maybe a multi-terabyte backup that you want to you need to be able to transfer to another machine, and you don't have it set up in a cluster for failover, this is a good option for you. Also, you can unplug that drive and then take it off site. So if you need an off-site local backup. So sometimes back in the day, backups, tapes and things like that were taken out on a daily basis and taken to a bank vault for offsite backups. So this is a way to do that. Maybe you need to have a disaster recovery plan that requires you to have an offsite backup, and cloud is not an option for you. So things to consider, and this is an option for you. I'm Kevin Stevenson with PhasedLogix. You can find me at getmethegeek.com. Thanks for joining me.